Doctor Who Season 7, Episode 1 to 4, titled Spearhead from Space. And of course, this is the first story featuring the third Doctor, played by Jon Pertwee. And I mean, technicality, is the first time we ever see him. Mainly because normally during a regeneration, the final, a few seconds is literally the Doctor regenerating into whoever the next person is, or the next Doctor is, and then we meet them for like 10 seconds, maybe a minute. Depends who the show one is, and depends who, what the scene they have, right? And the thing about the third Doctor, he brought color with him. This is the first time the Doctor Who was in color. This, the first story of the third Doctor is like, what it's like? It's like, look, Time Lords, I'm pissed at you. I'm really pissed at you that I can't leave Earth. I can't even change, I can't even do the whole travel through time thing. The TARDIS is kaput. And my face is changing. But one thing I will appreciate is that you brought some color into me. Everything's so bright and colorful. Like I always thought the TARDIS was grey, but it turns out it's blue. Who knew? Yeah. I mean, my last two incarnations was so black and white. I mean, literally, all I saw, I was literally colorblind or whatever. Anyway. So what I thought of this story, and what I will say is, I mean, the first thing naturally to talk about is the Doctor himself, Jon Pertwee. And my first impression of him as the Doctor, I'm like, he's bringing a level of charm to the Doctor that wasn't in the previous two. It wasn't in Hartnell, it wasn't in Trafford. Somehow Pertwee, and naturally maybe it's the whole thing about what makes this Doctor different. Well, it's the personality of the actors, right? It could always just be that, but I'm like, when he talks to Liz, who's our new companion, Liz, he talks to her very intelligent and very capable, knowing that she's capable of doing all this stuff because she's a scientist working for UNIT. But there's a level of smoothness there, and I get it. What I have heard from the Pertwee era is that he's being described as the James Bond of Doctors. And I always thought just because he kept karate chopping, he kept karate chopping, and every person, I keep seeing clips of this third Doctor karate chopping, just huh. He's just doing all that. I'm like, okay, maybe he's a little more action based, but no, there's a level of charm and wisdom and a sense of a little bit of cheekiness that is brought to this Doctor. But here's the thing about it: this is a story that is interesting, and you're glued to when the Doctor's on screen. Naturally, the show's named Doctor Who, so naturally you hope so. But when you hit the villain plot, and I say that knowing that he's asleep for one of the 4 episodes, I just had to put it out there, Time Lords changing, forcing generation on you. You need to, have a bit of a snooze for God's sakes. But actually, it is probably also the first time it's been mentioned that the Doctor has 2 hearts. It probably is the first time that has happened in the show, mentioning his biography and knowing he has 2 hearts. Anyway. But when we hit the villain plot, which is the Autons, a classic Doctor Who villain, the mannequins, the killer mannequins, you won't look at mannequins ever again the same way. I'm watching it, and I'm like, is it me of this is a whole story that is driven by its villain plot, and I'm not sure And, to be fair, it is the first time me watching this story, so I might have missed some things, maybe missed some information, some dialogue. I could have missed something, but I'm like, I don't understand their end goal. Like, and there's scenes like, so the concept is that the Doctor arrives on Earth as quote unquote as 1 meter away, and then another asteroid meteorite shows up at the same time, and they are they're not connected, but the Spearhead, you may say, from space, is connected to the Autons and that type of thing, and they are trying to figure out what's going on, what's the plan, and what is the Autons' whole deal is. And it's in a toy factory, or that makes baby makes dolls, mainly like baby dolls, and they're making starting to make mannequins as like a next leap of their company. But the thing is, I'm like, they're killing this. I get they're trying to kill this one guy because he knows too much now, but I'm like, are you trying to make the whole world into plastic? Why kill the guy with the spear just for the sake of it? Why are you killing the lady? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? It could easily just be first time watching the episode. Maybe I just need to listen to dialogue. And I would like, it did take me a while to get an idea of this Doctor is going to be a very earthbound Doctor, where isn't a, hey, here, I'm the Doctor, here's the companion, we're going to travel through time and space. It's going to be a very earthbound, so it's going to have a different feel and tone and everything like that. So I need to also get used to that as well. So it took me a bit. I do like the idea of like Liz being like working for UNIT, understanding what UNIT is, but doesn't believe what UNIT actually is. You know what I mean? Like she's like, yeah, sure, you fight aliens and all, trying to help stop aliens and alien crimes and all that, but I don't believe you. But paycheck's a paycheck, so I'll probably do it. I like that idea, and her being very skeptical of like seeing the TARDIS a bit, and the Brigadier is like, travel through time and space, and she's like, yeah, travel through time and space, and this guy used to look like this guy, looks like a previous dude. Yeah, it's the 70s. Been taking any pills lately, Brigadier? Peace and love and all that kind of stuff? No? Okay, you actually believe it. And then it slowly gets revealed that slowly gets revealed that, the Brigadier is telling the truth, and the Doctor is an alien, and the Doctor is a time traveler, and he does have a time machine, and he was this other guy that the Brigadier knows. But what I found is that the villain plot is weak, and that's kind of, it sucks, because it naturally, in Doctor Who, that's kind of the focus, because, it's mostly episodic. It's very, new story every time, and you don't need to watch this story to understand what happened in the previous story, kind of thing. It's, did I like it? Yeah, I liked it. But, in my head, I'm thinking as a third Doctor story, and it's the first one. You would think it'd have another, like a little bit more, like, hoo-yah, a little bit more, punch-a-weenie, but